here. Thank you so much for coming for this amazing lecture demonstration by Adrish. Today, Srutilaya has brought you something very, very interesting. It's about Thumris, from palaces to Kothas to concert novelties. And Adrish, of course, he's been singing, he's been a vocalist since last 15 years. And we all welcome you over here, and we'd love to hear what you have to present to us. Let's have a round of applause.
Hello everyone, good evening. Thank you everyone for showing up. This is a topic which is slightly close to my heart because I've been following this topic for the last 2 to 3 years very deeply and have always been related to this. So yeah, we shall be starting. I shall explain the meaning of the subtitle in the coming few slides, which will be interesting. So the first thing which I should be starting off is, what is Thumri? So Thumri is a style, has been categorized in the recent years. By recent, I actually should be meaning 60 to 70 years, but in classical music years, that is recent. So in the recent years, under the subgenre of semi-classical music, rather than getting its own status of just its own status. The reason of it I will be discussing coming up. But so yeah, it's said to be a so-called semi-classical form of music, which focuses majorly on the feel and the bhav of it, or the intrinsic deep meaning of it, meaning of the words also, rather than the technicality of the singing of the person. The technicality of the singing does not matter much to the audience and to the art form itself. So yeah, that is Thumri. Now the major thing is how is a Thumri exactly different from, let's say, a rag or a khayal? So for that, we should first understand what is Hindustani classical music. So I did come up with this analogy while explaining Hindustani classical music to my friend, where imagine the notes, or whatever notes we call sa, re, ga, ma, pa, tha, ni, to be like alphabets of a language, where these are the alphabets which, if you put a few notes together, they become a tune, like a word, like a tune becomes a word. A mixture and a culmination of all these words becomes a sentence, where this sentence forms some sort of a composition, it forms some sort of it forms a vibe per se, and multiple of these sentences come together to become a rag, or like an essay, where the essay has a very set particular vibe, which is also a set of rules per se, where these rules are followed for us to explore our feelings, explore our compositions, explore anything. Now the main area where khyals, I should go back, where khyals are actually these are set compositions in the rags itself, where they do not break away from the grammar of the rag. In Thumris, these grammars of the rag do not matter much. You can break the grammar of the rag while still being in the vibe of the rag. That is what matters the most. The feeling and the vibe matters so much in Thumri that it is perfectly fine for us to go somewhere very different in a direction, but then again, the vibe of it is still intact. I think that will be comparatively well described in this section where I'm starting, which is the musicality of Thumri, of why it is different. So this is, I'm assuming the lyrics are visible. If not, I can. Okay. So this is a Khamash Thumri which I learned from my teacher 4-5 months ago. I'll be expressing it. I think I'll explain what I'm trying to do after this again. Now, when we are singing a khayal, it does not start directly just like a Thumri, but in khayal the alap is very long. It's a very elaborate, around 10-15 minute alap, where alap is just it's just trying to set the mood of the rag. It's just trying to set the mood of the rag before we immediately jump into the composition. In Thumri, the alap is very short, where you just get a quick vibe of the rag and immediately you enter into the Thumri, because you don't need to set the vibe, because the vibe is coming with the Thumri. major point in this is that it's, as you can see, it's just a two-line composition. Only two lines are there, and I have constricted it because of obviously the time constraint. But in general, these compositions run for 11 minutes, 12 minutes, 13 minutes, where each line is explored from each note to note. For example, like if let's say if we assume the rag of Khamaj to be the word music, M-U-S-I-C. First, the musician will explore the letter M. Then they will explore the letter M and U, then M-U-S, M-U-S-I, M-U-S-I-C. That's how the entire composition is then explored. Now, the major point in this is that if the entire rag of Khamaj is the word music, then in this composition, it is not music, it is M-A-S-I-C, magic or something like that, because I am using notes from this which are not in the grammar of the rag, but I am using the notes which are still enhancing the beauty of it. Like people who know the rag Khamaj, they will be like, okay, this note is wrong, but it's not destroying the vibe of the rag. That is how these things function. That is how Thumris function in general. Also, the meanings are very deeply entrenched. The meaning becomes very important. One of the major differences in Khyal and Thumris are that in Khyal music, at least in Hindustani classical music, the meanings of the words are not that important. The words are very like placeholder, where we are just trying to, at least I personally try to get it over with so that we can get into the exploration of the rag in the later. But in Thumri, the words are very important, where you have to soften your voice, where you have to like change your voice modulation completely. Like if I were to sing something in Khamaj other than this, then Koyaliya kuka sunave mairi Koyaliya kuka sunave. The finesse in this is lost. The finesse, the very softness in this is very lost. And it's not like because this doesn't have any feeling. This does, but the major feeling comes in the alaps, which come after the composition has been done. In this, everything is mixtured into the composition and then it's explored. The meaning, as you can see, like which path did my Shyam go? My friend tell me. I searched entirety of Gokul, entirety of Vrindavan. Now I'm trying to find you in the entirety of Braj area. These are the simple compositions, but then the meaning become very important. And as we know, like Thumris. Okay, so I should try to include one thing. Thumris began its roots in Lucknow. From the dance form of Kathak majorly, where Wajid Ali Shah, the Nawab of Awadh, wanted to change Kathak from a very acrobatic style of dance into a very meaningful and a very feeling imposed form of dance. Where Kathak, the current form of Kathak which you see is a very refined version. There are some older videos where it's a very acrobatic dance and it's not that pleasing to look, if I may use these words. So for these Kathaks, Wajid Ali Shah started composition of Thumris, and as people might think that it's simple as that. Thumri just comes from the word thumakna, like to sway your hips. That's the etymology of this word. There is no deeper meaning to it. So yeah, this is why these meanings become important, and this is how the expressive. So the way when people sing, they sing in a very expressive way. I have still not gained that much. So Thumri singers, they take training from Kathak dancers for around 2 to 3 years to learn how to express themselves while sitting down. Okay, so the next Thumri. So okay, 3 major rags are explored in Thumris always. This is Khamaj. The next is coming up is Pilu, and third is Bhairavi. These are, if you search on Thumri up, these are the rags which you will find. There are other rags in which Thumris are sung, but they are slightly rarer. We will take a look into one of the rarer-ish Thumris. Next is Pilu. Okay, I will have to. Yeah. This has been sung by my guru. This is a recording when she was trying to teach me.
Just
So this is the exploration of just one of the two of the lines. The last line has the similar tune as the last one which has been played. But again, as you can see, the meaning of it is very it's very again metaphorical, very deep meaning, and it is important because then the expressive nature of it does have to come out. Hey, my lovely graceful Shyam, please listen to my request. Without your appearance, my life seems black. And just like fish without water, that is how my situation is. I am very helpless right now. That is just these are meanings of the line, and these composition, and this is still a three-liner, which will now go on to 15-17 minutes. This entire exploration goes on for a very long time. So yeah, and the next one which is coming up is in Bhairavi. Okay, yeah. This is one of the more famous ones by Ustad Bade Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab. And so here it is. I'll this is by Ustad Bade Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab, who is not a very particularly Thumri singer, he's a classical singer, who also has explored into Thumri. Now the very important and very interesting fact about this is that Thumri emerged from Lucknow, Banaras. Those are the two major centers of Thumri. And singers who come from, and singers and compositions from those areas are called Purab, or the Eastern Thumri. What Bade Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab sang is the style of Thumri which is called the Punjab Ang, Punjab style. And the reason for that is, as you heard this, it's a very fast-paced style of Thumri. It has a lot more how do I explain? A lot more voice modulation, a lot more skillfulness involved in it, which is not that needed for a Thumri singer particularly. Pura Bang is very slow. It's a very meditative process where you have to properly sit and you have to continuously make and weave through the entire Thumri. Again, Punjab is a very interesting part because the Thumri which my guru had said, the previous Pilu Thumri, is a Bade Ghulam Khasa composed Thumri, but sang in a Pura Bang style. So like again, these styles are interchangeable always. Again, another very major thing is the tal in Thumri is not very, the tal or the beats of Thumri are not fixed at all. In Hindustani classical music, every khayal or every composition has a very particular set tal which cannot obviously be broken. This in Thumri somehow the tal does not matter because the one which Bade Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab sang was in a 14-beat tal, but the general people they sing it in a 16-beat tal. Like Ustad Fayaz Khan is from Agra Gharana, who is also a classical singer who also sings these Thumris. He has sang this in a 16-beat tal, so these tals don't matter. Again, the first Khamaj composition which I have sang, I have learned it in 14 beats. The actual composition is in 16 beats. So like the tal is very interchangeable in this form of music. So yeah, that is how you change it. Sohni is again, so now these are the three conventional rags. Sohni is an unconventional rag for Thumri, and I am not sure how many people here must have heard this, but this is a very interesting part because this was in Mughal Azam. Very highly incorrect representation of Thumri because Thumri didn't come about until Wajid Ali Shah, which is like the 19th century. This is a movie representing 15th century Akbar, which is like just it's just funny to us, but like yeah. So yeah, this is in Sohni, which has been sung by Bade Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab. Again, a very interesting point in this. So yeah. Now we enter into the territory of the other forms of in the umbrella of the other forms of so-called semi-classical music. The problem with calling them semi-classical is that it's undermining the amount of skill and the amount of effort it goes into learning them. I think we will keep up over the end itself. I was thinking initially, but fine. We shall start first with Hori. I'll first read out the lyrics, which is very simple. Aaj biraj mein hori re rasiya, abhira gulal ke badar chhaye. It is Hori today in Braj, and the clouds of colors have surrounded us. Horis are very happy and very celebratory notes of music, where they are celebrating that about Hori. This emerged in the region of Awadh and Braj, like the western UP side, where rather than I will explain the even different areas and the languages why it matters. These are always in Braja Bhasha, which is like the western UP Bhasha. Very different from the other forms which I'm going to talk about. So yeah, this one recording is of Shobha Gurduji. I could not embed this, I'm very sorry. So yeah, this is one.
आज बिरज में आ
So this was Vidushi Shubhagotu for you. Majorly, so as you have already, I might have seen that these are all very female centric, very female centric compositions, all of them. And the major reason is because these emerge from women. These are composed by women. These are sung by women. These are celebrated by women. A major, like the inclusion of these songs in male voices has been such a recent phenomena that like it can the origins can be traced only until the early 20th century. Even before the 20th century, men used to not even sing these. So now, okay, we shall shift from Hori, which is a very happy note, to Kajri, which has a very underlying sad note of separation, where okay, I shall read this out. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that I'm my bad. It's oh, I think I have mixed up the. I am slightly sorry. I have mixed up the headings. This is Kachri technically, where the lyrics read नहीं आए घनश्याम घिरी आई बदरा ऐसा कोई जाए लाए बिया को मनाए जिया हंसते नहीं काहे. This, if you just read it directly, you can spot slight notes of rain, and obviously Kajris are meant for the monsoon season. They are very celebration of the monsoon, but it's also women pointing out. Okay, so a slight historical context is that these Kajris are from Bihar. They are from the Bhojpur region, from the Mithila region, eastern Bihar region. These are pointing out the custom of roka, where where children are betrothed to each other, like they are like betrothed towards marriage, where they're like, okay, you are technically husband and wife, but the wife will come to the husband's house only when she is adult enough. So they are getting married at the age of 5, but she will reach her husband's house at the adult age of 12. So these songs actually talk about the girl who is now waiting for her husband to take her back to her in-laws house, where where a lot of songs also mention ki I am now 12 years old, I'm 13 years old, I'm 14 years old, you have still not come and gotten me, when will you get me my betrothed husband. This one again, nahi aaye ghanshyam ghiri aaye badra, my ghanshyam or my lover is not coming, the skies are covering up the sky, where are you, two monsoons, 3 monsoons have gone by. So the woman thinks that my husband is angry at me, which is why he's not coming to get me, so she's requesting someone to go persuade him to not be upset with her and take her back home. And why is he not being happy? So that is what I am only going to play the audio of this one because the video is interesting, which will come later. So yeah, this is the representation of Kajri. Now we shall go into Chaiti, which is slightly my bad, but yes. So this is a Chaiti, which now is a celebration of the Chaitra Mass. Now what even my question when I had first heard about this was, Chaitra Mass is the time when Holi is there. So why are there two different forms of music for Holi and like Chaitra Mass? The major reason is that this Chaiti emerged from the Bhojpur region, which is the western Bihar area, and these celebrate only the spring season and not at all anything related to Holi. So and also very interestingly, this Chaiti specifically has slight intonations of a woman wanting to cheat on her husband. Wait, I need to. Intonations which I was talking about. If you notice, it says obviously, "Yehi thaiya motiya hiraye gayi Rama, kahawa मैं ढूंढूं." My pearl, like it's with jewelry, we are obviously not sure, but my pearl, one of my jewelry has gotten lost. Where do I find it? सासू से पूछ ली, ननदिया से पूछ ली. I asked my mother-in-law, I asked my sister-in-law. देवरा से पूछा था लजा गेली Rama. I asked my brother-in-law, and then I started blushing. The reason why I say this cheating intonations is because in a lot of other versions of this Thumri, they have replaced it with Sanya. So it just implies that the person whom she's asking and she's blushing for, she's just getting shy because she's like, okay, at least she has feelings for the neighbor, or they are already together or something like that. So then again, these are as these are obviously celebration by women and for the women. They are doing anything they want to for their lives in general. So that's why these are very interesting, and we obviously do not find such themes in like pure Hindustani classical music. Even if there is like talk of wife and husband and everything, it's a very that the wife is sad that the husband's mother and the husband's sister are torturing her. The Sasan Anadya is a very common theme in Hindustani classical music. It's I can't even think of a particular one. There are so many. Like this entire, it's just like the woman is like just she's oppressed constantly in Hindustani classical music. In Thumri, she's not oppressed. She's just trying to like celebrate the fact that okay, I am reaching my womanhood. Also, please remember, these are by like 16-year-old girls and 17-year-old girls. These are not like women. So like again, these are very like teenage expressions. It's like emo songs at this point. So. So yeah, these are what it is. Now a very interesting part is Tappa. Tappas came about in Lucknow again, in the court of Wajid Ali Shah again, but by his court musician called Shori Mian, where he had heard Punjab travelers, like the traveling traders of Punjab sing these Tappas, type of their folk music, and he then adapted it into a semi-classical form. This is, I think, the most proper definition of semi-classical. Because tappas do exist outside of classical areas where if you ask a person from northern India, from Delhi or Punjab, what is a tappa, they will tell you something which is very non-classical. It's something which can be sung by dadis of the house very commonly. But the tappa which is known in the classical world is very different. And this I am going to show with a recording of. To give context, so the previous video which you had seen is Nirmala Devi. Nirmala Devi is actor Govinda's mother, which is very interesting. I did not know that. And so yeah, Nirmala Devi has always been a very prolific singer of Thumris in general. So yeah, the next one is by Kaushiki Chakraborty, and I shall come into something which So the reason I bring this at the end is because Kaushiki Chakraborty is a very Hindustani classical musician, and and this has been sung at the end of all her other pure classical performances. And this is just an end novelty item. It used to be before the advent of these thumris being sang at the end of classical concert. It used to be taranas, which were like fast-paced things, which just give a vibe of the rag, and then you ended on a high note. Done. The thing is, okay, so first I'll talk about tappa, then I'll get into the issue of it. So tappa, this is Mia Nazar Nahi Aunda. Mia, because this is composed by Shuri Mia himself, the musician of Wajid Ali Shah, court musician of Wajid Ali Shah. Mia Nazar Nahi Aunda, Mukhda dikha ke dil le jana. This language is Punjabi, by the way. The language is Punjabi. Even though it was created, like it was adapted by someone in Lucknow, the language is still Punjabi. It just translates to, my lover, I can't see you, show me your face and take my heart away. When you bound me with you, like it's like using a naal as in like the one which you like make a cow, you bind it around a cow's neck to like keep it in the stable. So that is what a naal is. I will be with you until your breath finishes off. It's just again, it's from a perspective of a woman, which has been expressed in this. A very major difference which you might see is that it is very fast-paced and it is very technical in the sense that the amount of voice modulations, the amount of vibrations in this composition is very high. And it is very unfair to call this as semi-classical music because this is a skill which has to be garnered by people over years and years and years, so that they even can touch iota of this. Like the classical musicians, even if they try to attempt this, it is very difficult for them. Like if you continue the recording by Kaushiki Chakraborty, she's like, "Kya khatarnak bandish hai." Like she herself is very she's very like enamored by it. She's very like overwhelmed by this entire composition itself. So to call it semi-classical is like slightly demeaning it, where it just means that you don't need that much skill, that much level of artistry. But again, you require a way more level of artistry to even sing and attempt to sing these. Because if you sing these normally, they sound horrible. I know because I've tried them. I have tried to record myself. I'm like, okay, I do not sing tappas ever. So these become very important for us to understand, for us to even understand and celebrate this. Now, the major gripe with the form of classical music in general is that Thumris, the reason why I named this entire, the subtext of it is Kothas to concerts from, sorry, palaces to Kothas to concerts. I did mention why it came from palaces because Ustad, Nawab Wajid Ali Shah, the last king of Awadh, by the way, last king of Awadh, because he was so deeply entrenched with classical, in music and dance in general, that he created this form of Thumri. He was so deeply entrenched in classical music that he gave up his kingdom to the British because why not? So from there, these forms of classical music then entered kothas. In current language of Hindi, kotha implies a brothel. And if you had asked someone like 100 years ago what a kotha is, they would have been like, it's not at all a brothel. Kotha is a space where tawayafs live, which is again, the major stakeholders of this art form are tawayafs, where these tawayafs are like courtesans, and like prostitution is just something which is just not at all even associated with tawayafs in the older days, where these tawayafs were the people who were who were like keeping this music and this dance form alive. If you had to learn from if you have to learn from someone, you had to go music from someone, you had to go to a tawayaf, because I don't know how many of us know this, but Hindustani classical music used to be considered a very low level of music where you only sing it if you are a loose person, loose character. So these tawayas were characterized in that loose people, and the problem with this is that their respect in society reduced a lot by the time like the Britishers had come. However, it is very important for us to remember that these tawayas garnered a very high amount of respect in society. Their respect and their culture was so high that the elites of society used to send their children to these tawayas to be trained in the manner, the tehzeeb per se, or the how to behave in society. These tawayafs used to teach children of elites on how to behave for 1 year, for 2 years. They obviously had to also teach music and dance because that is a sign of a cultured man. That is a sign of a cultured person in general. So it becomes very important for the elites of society to celebrate them. But the moment the Britishers came, they saw that because it's a celebration of the independence of women, and how these tawayas used to have the highest respect in society without having any land, without having any money. They obviously had respect just on the sheer basis of the skill themselves. So the Britishers are like, okay, how do we characterize this? So they're like, because we can't characterize these tawayas, we'll classify them as nautch girls. I don't know how many of us are aware of the term nautch girls, where nautch girls were just they were considered to be lowest of the lowest forms of art forms in society, where they were the nautch came from the bastardization of the word nach, which is like they just dance, just that's it. Like they have no other contribution in society. And the fact that these tawayas are were such integral parts of society, and we should always remember one major thing. The first singers and the first recorded singers of India were tawayas. Gauhar Jan was the first person whose voice was recorded by HMV, his master's voice, the recording company back in the Britishers' days. And she used to charge 2,000 rupees for recording, when, if I'm not wrong, the gold used to cost 2 rupees for 10 grams of gold. She used to cost that much for each recording. She garnered that much power, but again the prudishness and the patriarchy comes in, where she was not allowed to enter the All India Radio recording station from the front door. She had to come from the back door where the cooks and the servants used to enter, because she is a tawayaf by profession. And all the first singers of India were all tawayafs. The problem is that now the current Thumri singers' names have been lost in history, where we only know of the current Girija Devi, the current Shobha Gotro, Nirmala Devi, and that is, I'm still talking about the 90s. The current 2000s and 2010s market of Thumris have been captured by these classical singers who just used Thumris as novelty at the end of the performances. But the first singers, Thumri singers of India were all tawayas, which is Rasulan Bai, which is Begum Akhtari, Rasulan Bai, again, Gauhar Jan, every one of them, every single person who used to sing back in the day, recorded person, were tawayas. But then again, the respect has been lost in society. Another major problem is our current fantasization and the fetishization of tawayaf culture in general, where I'll show one thing. This is a screenshot from the Netflix series Hira Mandi by Sanjay Leela Bhansali. And when we think of tawayafs, this has been the image which has been sold to us since the advent of Bollywood has been there. This has been the image which has been sold to us. This is not how Tawayas used to live. This is like just a palace where Tawayas are singing and dancing. A Tawayas mode of singing used to be in two ways. Either if it's a private patron, then the Tawayas will have a smallish room where the patron has now paid for her to sing and perform for 3 hours. Then she will be singing composition on composition, dancing over dance for 3 hours, and then they are done. They are done. And then there used to be semi-public shows where it used to be that it's a slightly bigger room where the Tawayas is in the center of the room, and there are multiple patrons sitting around, and then they are like appreciating the music in their own male way. So like there used to be alcohol, it used to be a very place considered with vices, but then again, like because these were celebration of art itself, it's very important for them to be this thing. Now I think you remember the Kajri's audio which I had mentioned. I will show the video later. The reason is this. This is from a Tawaya recorded by a person in 1997 in Calcutta. Who was that? Way more accurate to what a Tawaya singing or a person singing in a kotha would be. Obviously, she's very like not that elaborated dressed because obviously it's post-independence and like she doesn't have that much money and power, and obviously like fashion senses change. So which is why it's very important for us to remember that these women they currently technically they still do exist, but then they are again pushed so down and down and down, and this form of music has been now snatched away from them, where it's like a very sung by the upper classes of classical musicians, that these women have now been forgotten. If you compare, like this woman does deserve a stage, but she cannot get a stage because she doesn't have the resources for it. She doesn't have a name in society because she does not have the resources to be on a stage in general. It is, and also okay, if you notice her attire, she has a pan in her mouth. In general, and that is because even though lipsticks have been invented, she still wants to redden her lips with using a pan. She cannot, that entire aspect of it, the culture of it, she cannot like let go of. Again, the gajra, the use of the jasmine flowers in her hair for the scent, in general, it's again a very reminiscent of the past. This entire collection of videos is totals to around 3 hours of performance. And she has danced for one entire hour after singing for 2 hours. And the amount of energy and effort she has put into it, it is very interesting. It is very fascinating. And again, so in general, the status of Tawaya, the status of these courtesans in society has always been a very questionable thing, because obviously our country does not have a history of written history much. We do not have that many written records. So half of them go in like oral things. So the problem is like we don't know much about these women because nobody wanted to talk about them at all. So how they were before, let's say the Britishers even came to India, we have no idea. Whom are they learning from? How many years are they learning from? Are they forced into this profession? We do not know. Are they in this profession by their choice? We do not know. Although one thing is that majority of these women do go into prostitution because they do not have any other choice. These kothas, they start off as centers of music, centers of dance, then they become houses of prostitution, because The people who are going to listen to classical music are not going to pay money to go into a kotha or a brothel to listen to music. Nobody's going to do that. I will listen to someone in an auditorium in a stage where paying 500 rupees, 600 rupees, 700 rupees as a ticket. I will not watch them like just go and appreciate them as patrons. That is something which has shifted in the mentality of Hindustani classical music. Also, and so the problem is like a very major point of these women is that then they have to go into other professions to get money, and it is prostitution because that is what happens. So again, that is the major reason why this art form has been so, I would like to say oppressed. This art form is not appreciated enough, and even appreciation wise, it is just so novelty. It's like, oh, I am doing a Thumri, I am a very elevated person. No, you are doing Thumri just because it's easy for you to do it now. Like, you are not learning the art form for its art itself. You're learning it because you want to diversify your own portfolio, where you want to garner more audience members. You want to impress audience members with this Thumri. It's just a form of impress. Like, also, if current concerts, if anyone has gone, and if you go also, the Thumris which they sing are very fast paced because they're like, okay, we'll finish this off, we have to let this concert get over. It's a very like, if the Thumri starts and the audience knows, okay, it's time to leave now, traffic will be very high, let us leave. It's like that. Thumri has become like that. So the thing is, like, a very dedicated form of Thumri, a very dedicated form of music. It is very important for us to celebrate. That is why, again, and to be honest, if Thumri is lost, then so are these other forms of music also lost. The reason I come up to these is because the language itself will get lost. As we all know, like how all the languages which I mentioned, which is Bhojpuri, Maithili, and Awadhi, they are now dialects of Hindi rather than like languages in general. If these music forms are lost, then these languages are also lost, because this is what is keeping the language alive. Calling it dialects of Hindi, first of all, insults it, but we can't do anything right now. Like, that is how it is. But yeah, so if Kajri and Chaiti are gone, then so is Bhojpuri and Maithili. They are just gone from our memories. I feel like a lot of Hindustani classical musicians can now identify Awadhi as a language because like we have done so many compositions. At least we know how the grammar might be working or the grammar should be working, even though we are not born in that culture. But it is very it's a very precarious situation where we are now losing on this culture just because people don't want to get into it and sing this. So, yeah, I think this has been my last thing. Thank you very much. This has been my thing. Thank you very much. So, I would like to end this with one statement which my teacher used to say is that you start learning Thumri only after you have perfected khyals. So, Thumri is not something which you are learning as a beginner level. It's something which is a way more elevated form of Hindustani classical music of khyals. So yeah, thank you very much. Keep learning. Also majorly, so if anyone wants these recordings or some stuff, I can send links. Although, okay, I'm sorry, I just need to tell one thing. This recording I have found with too much effort. As you can see, bottom sarangi.net watermark, right? This is a website by a person I'm forgetting. He's a person from the US. He has come to learn sarangi, and so the sarangi person behind, he was interested by that, so that's why he called these tawayas to sing. This video is only available on his website. I have technically pirated this video, so like if anyone needs the recording, I can upload on Drive and send this. And it is very interesting because in general the use of sarangi in these forms. Sorry, I missed one. I'm very sorry. This is how my brain works. I'm very sorry. But sarangi, again, as its usage and its art form, the instrument, sarangi is almost lost from Hindustani classical music now. And the major reason is it's too much effort to play because you use your nails cuticles to play this, and you get wet wounds on these while playing. So it's a very it's a painstaking instrument by itself. Like, you bleed while you play this instrument. But the sound of this instrument is so heavenly that you cannot go behind this. Current Thumris are the only ones which are using these sarangis. Classical music, we have almost lost the use of sarangis. So yeah, sarangi has been survived by these musical forms.